Hello and welcome to the Racing Voice podcast, the show that gives motorsport's rising talents a voice on the mainstream motorsport scene. I'm Jake Sanson, and you join us trackside at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. My guests today are three drivers who could go on to become future stars of sports car racing and even Grand Prix. Firstly, a driver who has been putting on a sensational show in the FIA Karting paddock as a top three contender in the Academy Trophy, where Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon and George Russell all cut their teeth. And maybe for the young man from Ukraine, who could have an incredible future, Oleksandr Bondarev. Sasha, great to see you. Hope you have had a wonderful end to 2021. You've just returned from the FIA Karting prize giving, where you picked up your third place trophy for the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. What a wonderful way to end your year. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Not many trophies have been achieved last season, but still, it's very happy to get a top three overall in one of races that a lot of Formula One drivers competed in.
It's very true. I mean, that particular category, a few talents have come through. So people like Charles Leclerc, Esteban Ocon, and George Russell all came through the academy. And now you are one of the top three drivers to come through in 2021. Tell us a little bit about what racing in the Academy Trophy was like this year. How difficult was it, and have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, in round one at Wackersdorf, I was still getting used to the chassis, so I didn't have the best pace. And the result only came in the final when I gained 17 places with the fastest lap. So at that point, I knew that I understood the chassis and the engine and everything. So in Adria, it was already a different story when I was P5 overall in qualifying. Then I was P2 overall in the heats. Some mistakes also from my side in the final. It was a P3 after a penalty for Jevan David. So in Kristianstad, I was feeling very confident again, but again, a mistake from my side in the final put us out of contention for second and first place in the point. But still, it was great that I was able to show good results in the heats to get the P3 overall.
And this is the thing with a championship like this, where you have 3 race weekends, everything has to be very consistent. You have to make everything work perfectly as many times as possible. And it's a very different competition because every driver has the same chassis, the same tires, the same engines. So it comes down to driving skill. How big a challenge was it to be at the front of that field every time?
It's easier to be in the front because when you start at the back, you have to do some moves to get through the field, and it takes much time. So at the front of the field, it was about pure pace. If you are able to pull away from the pack when you're in front, and then on the last lap, just defending and not letting the driver behind pass you. And in one of the qualifying races, it went down to the last lap, and David Walter went from P1 to P7 on the last lap. So in the middle of the race, you have to if you have a driver in front, you have to just pull away, and then on the last lap, it's just all to battles.
So obviously each weekend you are learning more about the chassis and learning more about yourself as a driver as you continue to make progress. How do you feel you have changed this year as a racing driver from where you were at the start of this year? How much have you made a difference to your own ability as a racer?
In our family team, we spent this year preparing ourselves for this year because it's going to be one of the most important seasons. With my last year in OK Junior, then I'm going to be moving to OK. So the thing that changed was my physical condition. When at the start of the year, I wasn't able to do 12 laps in the qualifying race in Adria to feeling comfortably after 32 laps. It's made life so much easier because I don't have to think about when I'm feeling tired during a race, and I can focus more on the driving.
You've been racing in a very competitive championship where you have been in the family team. It's been you, your mechanic, and your parents basically supporting you and helping you through the season. And when you're up against the professional teams, when you're up against people that have been racing in the sport for many, many years, it must have been so difficult, and it must have been such a big challenge to be competitive. When you were racing in the OK Junior European and World Championship, I mean, how difficult was it to go up against the big teams when they have hundreds of mechanics and there was literally just you, your mechanic, and your parents helping you out?
Even though we were in a family team, we had great support with the engines and like with the materials like chassis and everything. So we made a big step forward with the data. So we use that a lot, even though that we didn't have much drivers to compared ourselves with a different setup. So to make it work, even though we have only one driver and one chassis. So the engines were really good this year, and that helped me a lot, especially and also that there were just some tracks that I liked a lot, and some tracks that I didn't really understand. Like for example, Sarno, I love it, and and some other tracks I just cannot understand them, and that's it. But like. Every time you get in the car and you have a different track and everything, you must be able to learn it very quickly, and with one driver it's very hard to find the perfect setup. That was the hardest thing this season.
You're quite unusual amongst the drivers in the sport in that you come from a country that doesn't really have a large amount of motor racing history. I think the most successful racing driver from the Ukraine before you was probably Sergei Chukhanov, who won the Ferrari Trofeo Pirelli a few years ago. That is a very difficult background for you to come from. I guess, is that one of the reasons why you guys decided to move to Italy, to be part of the karting community there? Is that kind of why you've sort of decided to be heavily involved in the European karting scene?
Yeah, it was one of the reasons. But like we still achieved a lot of things in Ukraine. We won 3 championships in there. At that point, we just decided to move the levels and try to move a level up and level up. And we went from the Central European, the Rotax Championship, and then we did the Spanish and Portuguese championships. Then we already moved to WSK for first in Mini and now in OK Junior.
And of course, now we head into 2022, and it's only just recently been announced that you're going to be racing for the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. You're not just moving from the family team into an established team. You're racing for the team that has won 2 of the last 3 world championships and is this year's European Championship winning team with Freddie Slater. So you're coming into the junior team just as he's moving up to senior. So there's a really good chance that you and your teammates have another great competition coming in 2022. But what does this mean for you to move into a team like Ricky Flynn Motorsport, which is so well established, which has so much success behind it, but also that you're going to be on the Lando Norris chassis, which must be very exciting?
The Ricky Flynn team, we just decided to move there because we think that we are ready, and we made the big step forward in my preparation this season in the family team. So moving to a team like Ricky Flynn is like a thing that should be done to achieve bigger results this season. Then also about the Lando Norris chassis, yeah, it's very exciting, and also I think that there is some connection with some driver academies like McLaren, and if we achieve good result this season, then maybe next year we're gonna have a better proposal.
So is that kind of the ultimate objective? You're obviously racing in a team with Ricky Flynn that has a bit of a history of bringing drivers from their team up to the top level. They had Lando Norris in their team once upon a time. They had Guan Yu Zhou in their team. They had Oscar Piastri in their team. So many big names that have risen up to Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. Is that now the path that you're on? Is that where you feel that you can achieve if things go well with RFM?
Yeah, of course, we hope so, that things are going to go well this season and also next season with OK, that we still don't know if we are going to stay with our fans for OK, but we hope that the results this season will already like push up us to a different level in our path to Formula 4, Formula 3, and so on.
And obviously, with a team like this, you have so many great connections to so many great mechanics who have done the sport before. So your waft of knowledge is going to be even stronger. Considering how competitive you were as a privateer, do you feel that this is kind of like the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle to make you the best kart racer you can be? Is this going to finish the preparation to get you ready to get into cars? Do you see this as the ultimate end game?
Yes, that's one of the steps, and we also have some things that we need to improve throughout the season with Ricky Flynn, tire management, and all of those already like tactical stuff in racing. So yeah, we hope that we're gonna be in the front with Ricky Flynn, so that we already put me up to my best karting level.
The question I have to ask now, because obviously you're going from a small family-run team with only a handful of people in it into a strong team with many people in it. What are you most looking forward to about that challenge? Obviously, you know that the team are built on winning and they have a big success with winning, but there's going to be a big change in your routine in the weekends. There's going to be a big change in the atmosphere, the dynamic. What are you most excited about going into 2022?
Yeah, no, because in the team there are going to be other drivers, so there could be not only a race between other people, but also there could be some of a race in between the team. So that will make racing even more excited. I am really looking forward that this season we're going to be able to challenge in the European and World Championships.
And what's interesting, I guess, as well, is that one of the drivers that you're going to be working alongside is the driver that you raced against in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy, Maciej Gladysz, who won that title, and now he's going to be your teammate. Is that going to go very well? I mean, the two of you do seem to get on quite well as friends anyway. So I guess, is that going to make things a little easier if you're both going into the team at the same time?
No, but like the thing is that we go to Ricky Flynn because we both want to win, and only one driver can win. That's going to be a very big challenge in between us, especially. So yeah, hopefully we're not going to get into an accident on track.
Well, let's look at 2022, because you're going to be doing quite an intensive program. You're not just going to do the FIA Championship in the European and the World contests, but you'll also, I guess, do the WSK. There's a good chance you'll probably also do the Champions of the Future series. So it'll be a very busy campaign for you, a very busy program, probably your toughest yet. What are you going to do over the winter in preparation for the first weekend of the season in the winter?
Of course, like the Tony Kart chassis that we were using this year is the same OTK chassis as the Lando Norris kart. So as much like testing as we're gonna do now, the better we are gonna look next season when it's gonna be already like the final exam, and we're gonna have to give our best, get to the top like Freddie Slater did with Ricky Flynn this season.
It looks like it's going to be a fantastic year for you, Sasha, and we wish you all the best for it. I think you're going to have a really, really good time of it with Ricky Flynn. Thanks for talking to us, and we will catch up with you throughout 2022. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Huge thanks to Sasha, and we'll see more of him in 2022 at Ricky Flynn Motorsport. The second is a young driver from Nottingham who has recently made the switch to Minimax after a successful career in cadet karting. I caught up with Freddie Housley, who will race in multiple locations in 2022. Freddie, it is so good to be with you once again. Happy New Year to you. And 2022 looks like it could be a very busy one for you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. And with James been mechanicking for me full-time now, and obviously SPR, and we've got all the kart ready, and we've been testing over the winter, and I think it is going to be a good 2022 season.
So you spend the latter part of 2021 basically stepping out of cadets up into the next phase, into Minimax. Now, how big a jump has that been for you? Tell us a little bit about what it's like to go from the cadet world to the Minimax world.
It was quite a big of a jump at the start, but when you really get used to it, it's not a lot of change. Like the tracks are the same, and the racing at the front's a little bit different, but when you get used to it, it's all really the same, to be honest.
And you're racing against some incredibly talented guys at this level. And obviously you've had a sort of a decision in the past as to whether you're going to go X30 or whether you're going to go Rotax. What was it that prompted the decision to go down the Rotax route?
I preferred it always because I just think I don't enjoy X30 as much. And I think Rotax is more pure racing. It's more fair, to be fair. It's not like all engine based. It's just mainly driver talent, really.
So from what you have been able to get from racing the last few years, you wanted to focus on, the driving ability where it wasn't so much about who owned what chassis, who owned what engine. And from what you're saying in Minimax, you get a better opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and SPR is a Rotax team up from cadets anyway. But yeah, like I said, I have always enjoyed it more than X30.
And you've kind of moved around from different teams over the last 2-3 seasons into different folds. What is it about Sam Pollitt Racing where you feel comfortable? What is it about the environment there?
I've known Sam for many years. We met back in Dubai when I was racing at the Oplate in 2016, I believe. And I just really feel settled in the team. They've got the perfect chassis for me. They've got everything right, really. And I think it's great.
And you're obviously working with James Bean, as you said. Now, James goes back a long way in terms of his karting. He was racing in the same paddock as Lewis Hamilton back in the days. So obviously what the guy doesn't know about running drivers isn't worth knowing. How much of a progress have you made working closely with James?
I've made a lot of progress. I've known him for numerous years, but now that he's working for me full time, I have progressed a lot and my times have got faster. He's improved me in the wet and everything. It's just great to have him mechanicking for me for the 2022 season, really.
So how much pressure does that take off you, knowing that we're in the second week of 2022 and already you've got your programs settled, you know who you're working with, you've got a team that you feel comfortable in. Just how much easier does that make the approach and the setup going into a new season for you?
It just makes it feel so much better because I feel settled with my mechanic and team and everything. Because we worked so hard in 2021, everything just feels like it's going to come together this year.
So the latter stage of 2021, you really started to pull together some big results. You were always setting lap times in the top 5. And now we're starting to see, that was it fair to say that the end of 2021 was basically just getting used to the kart? Now you're there, 2022, you really want to go for this?
Yeah, definitely. The end of 2021 was just about adjusting to the kart and perfecting them laps and every corner really at every track. So yeah.
So your race program for 2022, everybody talks about how busy and intense it is for a driver. You're obviously picking the 2 or 3 core championships that you're going to be doing. So where are we going to be racing in 2022?
We're going to be racing at the UKC and the British Champs. So we're just trying to go for both of them championships really.
Excellent. And will you be doing some club races in between? Is there a particular circuit that you'll focus on? I know that some people like to do a national campaign and a club campaign simultaneously.
Yeah, we will be doing like club rounds before the major races. So like TVKC, Kim Bolton, Wilton, we'll be doing them sort of club races before the major races.
Fantastic. And what is it about the Ultimate Karting Championship that really draws you to it? Obviously, everybody wants to race in the British Kart Championship, so it makes perfect sense you're going for the British title. But what is it about the Ultimate Karting Championship, that makes you feel quite like this is a championship worth racing for?
The format's really good and the calendar looks really appealing, really, because all of the tracks that were there were fast that last year, and I just think it's a good championship.
Excellent. So going into 2022, you've obviously got an incredible mechanic behind you. You have some fantastic teammates and engineers that you'll be working with within Sam Pollitt Racing. Everything is set in stone and it looks pretty ironclad. What's your personal target for 2022? What do you think you can achieve this year?
I can achieve the British Championships and the UKC Championship because, like you said, I've got such a good team around me with James and Sam and everything. I can just go for both of them championships.
It's interesting because there's not many people who can say they've won both championships in a year. We only just saw Dan Ginchard win in both the British and the UKC in Junior Rotax. Do you genuinely think that you can do the same thing in Minimax this year then?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same if I put my mind to it and, keep on working hard throughout the year with the team and the mechanic. And I think if we put enough work to it, then we can do it.
That would be fantastic. We're really hoping that this is your opportunity, Freddie. We'll be following you throughout the course of the season. We'll be keeping up to date with progress, seeing how things go for you. Mate, good luck with it. Give them hell, and we're really looking forward to seeing what you do. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks to Freddie, and we'll be cheering him on throughout 2022. Our final driver is one of the champions from FIA Karting last season. Winning the prestigious FIA Karting Academy Trophy, he is Poland's latest rising star, Maciej Gladysz. Maciej, it is so good to be with you. Tell us, how was your festive season? How was Christmas and New Year?
It's very good. Of course, I train a lot now, and I get some presents for the Christmas time and for the New Year, because I changed the team to Ricky Flynn. So for me, this is the present, and I get FIFA 22 and a lot of new present and a lot of new information. Of course, I was happy about this, and it's very good. Now I hope so in 2022 I will have some more luck. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Fantastic. So like most people in racing, I'm guessing you're just wanting it all to get started now. You're fed up of the holiday and now you want to go racing again.
Yeah, now testing we are starting from 15 January, and first race will start from 30 January. So yeah, WSK Supermaster Series. And after it's, I think, Winter Series in Franciacorta.
Fantastic. A good place to start the season. So let's talk a little bit about your journey up to this point. You started obviously back home in Poland and have worked your way up through the karting scene. How has it been to get up to the point where you're now racing in the FIA?
Everything for me new, because my first race obviously was in Genk in 2021. I was always thinking about the FIA, and I always want to start here, because for me it's one of the biggest party in the world, because a lot of good drivers, a lot of good teams, and everything is good. And now from Genk I learn a lot more, and I hope so now in this year I will win some European Championship, maybe some rounds, because this is my second year, and the first year for me was the practice, because I have to learn the new category, new chassis, and faster. The faster is obviously this go-kart, because of KJ. I think I will be fast. So yeah, just wish me luck.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And you're going into one of the top teams in world karting. I mean, you're going to be with the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team, which has already a fantastic reputation for success. How does that change your approach coming into 2022? Are you feeling confident, or are you feeling a little bit apprehensive?
I feel confident, but little bit I'm nervous about the first race. Always is something like this, but I think will be everything fine, and I think this team will be the best for me.
As teams go in the world of karting, I mean, you're with a team that has given championships to Logan Sargent, to Enem Ahmed, to Lando Norris, drivers like Oscar Piastri and Guan Yu Zhou, who are now in the Formula One paddock. They have come from Ricky Flynn. Is that the main reason why you've chosen this team, or was it part of the nature of the environment within the team that you preferred?
Obviously, a little bit with what happened in the future, and with Lando Norris or Guan Zhou, they are in F1 now, and now I was looking at how they won this championship. Like Freddie, he won 2021 European and World Championship, but 5-second penalty for bumper, so he was second. But for me, this is World Champion for him, because he was the fastest, obviously. And every drivers are fast. Like Salim Hanna, he was okay. And now in Ricky Flynn, he's very fast. So we are looking just who is the fast and which engine is good. And how is the atmosphere in this team? Because I saw the Ricky is really nice guy, and the mechanics are very nice, because Dennis was my mechanic in FIA Karting Academy, and he was with Ricky Flynn, and for me he was really nice mechanic, and for me one of the best. So I think of this too.
So you now come into the 2022 season. You will obviously have a very busy schedule, because not only will you have the FIA karting, but you will also have Champions of the Future with RGMMC, and you will have the WSK Promotion Series. It's a very busy calendar for a driver in OK Junior. How do you prepare for a busy year when you have maybe 30, 40 weekends over the course of a season to race?
Before the season, I'm of course relaxed because, it's a lot of races. So I'm not thinking about the races and practice starting. I'm just focused about the work, and I will do my best to just be better. I will just work hard and win more than last year because, okay, I won Academy, but I want to win more, FIA, WSK or RDMNC, but, it's long way and will be really hard because a lot of good drivers who is driving in OKJ, like Oleksandr Bondarev, he joined to Ricky Flynn too, so he will be fast too, and will be a long way.
So let's talk a little bit about your racing before you came to the FIA, before you came to WSK, because obviously drivers, they start very young. Once they get to a certain point, they go up to Mini 60. And you were racing, obviously, in your own country. What was it like racing in Poland and competing at that level with the drivers from the same place?
In Poland, it's just some drivers who is now driving in WSK, like Janek Schross. He's now in Tony Kart, and he was drive some races in Poland. But after I went with him to Italian WSK or FIA, and the Polish, okay, it's good party, but it's not big because some drivers, they think about the karting, it's, Polish is really good, it's the best, rock it's really good. And, it's not true. If they will come to WSK, they will see what is the real fight because it's really hard. In WSK, I have some really unlucky races. Like I just crashed maybe 4 times in 1 week. So, it's really hard. In Poland, I won everything. That's Polish Championship, World Cup Poland, and, everything. So I think that it's, of course, better to drive in European, obviously, races.
So it sounds like what you're saying really is that in Poland, yes, you can be at the front and you can do well every time, but you are learning more about the tough nature of the sport by being in Europe.
Yeah, it's in Polish. It's okay. It's nice some fight in some races, but in WSK and European Championship or World Championship, you will learn more because new tracks, new country, and everything new. So in Poland, always every year is the same track, the same, and it's boring. Just drive.
So since the year 2000, a lot of drivers that have come from FIA karting have gone on to massive success. This year, just gone, Alex Palou became IndyCar champion. Nick de Vries became the Formula E world champion. James Calado won Le Mans for Ferrari and also the World Endurance Championship. And they all came from FIA karting. Do you see this as the place where your career really starts? Are you going to be, and I also want to ask, I guess, are you going to be one of these drivers that will be fighting for the World Karting Championship in years to come with Tony Kart's factory team, with Birolad's factory team, these sort of things? Or do you see yourself using this as an opportunity to head for Formula One or IndyCar or Le Mans?
Yeah, I just hope I will drive, Le Mans races. And I think FIA helps a lot to be there because, the FIA is one of the biggest party. If we will drive just in Poland, you know what I say about the Poland. It's not right because you will not drive after in the Le Mans races or Formula E because just European, everybody just looks at the European races like Toto Wolff or Christian Horner. They are watching this, not Polish championship, not country championship. They are just watching European WSK because this is the biggest party in the world. Maybe I will be there like Nick de Vries or some F1 drivers. I hope so.
It's interesting that the first thing you mention is Le Mans. There's a lot of racing drivers that obviously want to go up to cars and obviously want to go to the highest part of the sport they can. For you, is that the Le Mans 24 Hours? Is that the greatest race on the planet, as so many other drivers feel?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best. F1 is big party, but it sometimes get boring because, start is important and after everybody just drive. And Le Mans is always some fight or somebody spun or something, and this is really nice. You saw now, obviously, Abu Dhabi race, F1. Okay, this race was really good, but last race was so, boring, just boring. But I think this year, the 2021, I mean, was the best year because Max and Lewis was big fight. So, and Le Mans is always big fight, and I hope so I will come to watch. And after maybe when I will be a little bit more older, I hope so I will drive there. I hope so. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this could be the start for something very special for you. We wish you all the best, Maciej, and we will talk several times through the year and we'll catch up with your journey, and hopefully it will be a really successful year. Congratulations so far and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to Maciej, and we're sure there's more success right around the bend. That's it from this edition. We'll catch up with some more bright stars from here and overseas next time out. My big thanks to Oleksandr Bondarev, Freddie Housley, and Maciej Gladysz. I'm Jake Sanson, and you've been listening to the Racing Voice podcast. Bye for now.